Sorry about that. Okay, let's begin. Hello, everyone. How are we? Today is Saturday Live. I said I was going to start by 12 and it's exactly 12 on the dot. I was just trying to set up. How are we doing? How are you all doing? Waiting for some other persons to start. Okay, so welcome to the Chit Chat with Dorcas in Ecuador. I'm Dorcas Glader. I'm the African in Ecuador, and today we are live. We're talking about immigration because somebody sent me a message. Someone sent me a message that if I could make a video about, if I could make a video. So let's start afresh. I was trying to get some things out of the way. Anyway, here we are. It's Saturday, and like I said, I'm just trying to answer a question about what it is you will need to know going or coming to Ecuador. Let me just check if my mic is on. I'm a little bit skeptic about this. I think I'll just hold it in my hand to be more secure for the light. So I'm not a legal expert on immigration or migration in general, but I'm a product of migration. What do I mean by that? My grandfather was an immigrant from northern Nigeria. Yeah, I think I'm much more comfortable that way. From northern Nigeria. So he was originally from Sokoto, and him and his grandfather basically passed most of their life around Central and Eastern Africa. And he settled in Congo and got married to my grandmom, who gave birth to my mother, who in turn had to go to Nigeria to look for her father because in the 50s, during the Mobutu administration, for those of you who don't know, there was also a movement where we had something like the Ghana must go incident in Nigeria, where Nigerians were forced to go back to their country. There was just an influx of Nigerians. I never know. Oh, hi, Sanusi. Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining. So my grandfather and his was forced to go back to Nigeria and had to settle in Kano State. So when my mom got to Nigeria, my dad joined her in Nigeria in Kano, and that was how my Congolese father got to live in Nigeria and raise his family in Nigeria. And when I got older, I became an adult. I got married to another migrant who fled the war in Liberia. And from there, we moved to South Africa. And for the 8 years that I stayed in South Africa, I couldn't get a job. Anybody who is familiar with the situation over there knows that there have been series of xenophobic attacks on foreigners, and so Um, we were able to get in touch with some Christians of the same faith here in Ecuador who encouraged us to come over. And that was how we came to Ecuador. So basically, I came here as a missionary with my husband. Now, the issue of coming to Ecuador. First of all, Ecuador is in South America. It's a country, it's a beautiful place. It's a third world country located in the western part of South America, and they are quite a friendly people. The um, the language, the official language here is Spanish. So I just thought I should put that out first of all, if it's not a problem for you. It's Spanish, and they are quite friendly. The country's capital is Quito, which is about, I think, let me see my note here. Um, it's about 8 hours drive from where I live. I live in the commercial capital, Guayaquil. So we share borders with Colombia in the north, Peru to the east and the south, and on the west we are bordered by the Pacific Ocean. So basically that is just a geographical location of Ecuador. And to answer your question, Sanusi, I would say it's a nice place to come settle. One, because the people are quite friendly. They're very friendly. They are not hostile to foreigners. There are a lot of job opportunities. So if you wanted to come to look for a job or even start your own business, you could come here, do that. There are a lot of opportunities for remote workers, people who basically just work from the comfort of their laptops. So if you were employed and you could work from your computer, you didn't need a fixed place, it's also a good place. Another opportunity that you can have here in Ecuador is agriculture. It's an agricultural country. They are known for exportation of bananas, coffee, chocolate production in mass. And so there are a lot of people who are investing in that field. And there are also a lot of tourists who come to visit the country. So you could come into the tourist sector as a guide, or you could invest in hospitality industry where you have your own, maybe a bread and breakfast or a small hotel, or just be a tour guide. There are so many opportunities. And there are also a lot of startup companies for software development, tech companies. A lot of people usually settle around Quito, Cuenca, Ambato, and I think Loja. Here in Guayaquil, where I live, it's a very, very warm climate. I have only met one Nigerian since I've been here. I've been here for 8 years, and I've only met a Nigerian. So I don't think Africans really like to settle here. Yeah, the only foreigners I've met here are the Venezuelans and the Colombians who come here because they share borders. Okay, Venezuela does not share borders, but the Colombians share borders, and the Peruvians. So they come here more or less for business purposes. So what would be your requirements to come here? When I came here, the mistake I did was not going to the embassy to get a total information. You can't get all the information on the internet. So the problem was that I came here without um, getting every full information from the embassy. So there is something called the Hague Apostille Council, if I'm getting that right. It's from the Hague. It's called the Hague Apostille Convention, which is basically an agreement between countries that have agreed that for foreigners to settle in their countries, they would need the states of those countries to certify whatever document you have earned or that is leaving that country. Practically what that means is, for example, you have a marriage certificate. Your country needs to issue another certificate or maybe a seal, a government seal that states that that particular document you are holding in your hand is legal, is recognized, and can be used by other countries to process whatever documents they need to process for you. And so I didn't have that information. I came here with all my documents, all the required documents I needed, and I didn't apostille the documents. So we had to start from scratch. And I came to Ecuador with a Congolese passport. So it really took me a lot of time legalizing my documents in Nigeria and then legalizing my Congolese documents. And that delayed the process. It's something that is not compromisable. So for your requirement, the first thing you would need obviously is your passport, which should be 6 months valid. And the next item you would need will be your passport photograph, colored photograph 5 by 5 in a JPG format with a white background, and then your criminal record. In Ecuador, those are the most important things that they require. You have to have your criminal record, or what some other countries refer to as your police clearance. Basically, it's a document from the police force of your country that stipulates that you have no criminal record. And if you do have a criminal record, it has to be expunged. There is basically no country that I know so far that would issue you residence in their country should you have a criminal record. So you would need that. Then you would need your passport, like I said, and then you have to prove to the country, which is the state of the Republic of Ecuador, that you have a legal source of livelihood. So I'm talking long term because I'm assuming maybe you're asking if you wanted to come and stay for long term. But if you're coming here on a tourist visa, you will just need what we call your basic travel allowance, your BTA, which at the time I didn't check how much it's required, but most times they would need what would cover your hotel bills and then your expenditures for the number of days you'll be staying here. So if you're coming for 15 days, it will be different from if you are coming to stay for a month or longer. You will just need a bank statement that shows that you have enough funds to sustain your stay within the country. Now, to come to Ecuador, there are 3 ways that you can do that. If you want to skip the hustle, you could just go to Visa HQ Nigeria and they will sort out all these problems for you. So it will depend if you're coming for a tourist visa or business visa or remote workers visa or work visa if you're looking for a work visa. If you're looking for a study visa, you could come here also to study. Visa HQ can sort all that out without you going to the embassy or to the embassy to make all those inquiries. And then if you didn't want to do that, you could get the tourist visa and then come into the country and then try to change that. You could do that in person at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And your third option will be to apply directly to the Ecuadorian government through their website, which is www.cancilleria.gov.ecuador. It's www.cancilleria.gov.ec, which is for Ecuador. And you can apply there, or you could get a company here in Ecuador who could offer you employment, and they would also facilitate that project for you, to that process rather, for you. And when you get on that website, then you can apply in person for, there's the list of all the visas that are available. It will depend now on you what visa you wanted to come, you wanted to apply for, what was your, or what is your purpose rather of coming to Ecuador. Now, the next option also that you have is to go to their embassy in Nigeria or wherever you may be at the moment. They have a website which is the same Cancilleria, Cancelleria, but now /embajados -y-consulados. So basically just ask Google list of Ecuadorian embassies abroad, and then you would find the address for their embassy in the country where you are. And then I think if you're in the country, say for example, you are looking for the Ecuadorian embassy in Nigeria, you would find their website, and then you could go book an appointment online and go there in person to find out more in-depth information about the particular visa that you want to apply for before coming to Ecuador. So somebody also wanted to find out what if there were Nigerians here. Like I said in the beginning, there are no Nigerians here in Ecuador, in Guayaquil, but we have a Nigerian community in the capital, in Quito, and most of them that I was fortunate to meet actually run their own businesses. So that was in 2018 when I went there. They had cyber cafes, restaurants, or salons, you know, which is something easy to start up. Ecuador does not really demand a lot to start up a business. There is no racism. Fortunately, there is no racism. Ecuadorians are one of the most friendliest people you will get to meet or that I have met in my journeys around the world. They are very, very friendly. There's no racism here. Thank God for that. We are fine. We were well received. The church hosted us until we were able to stand on our feet. Like I told you in the beginning, we came in as missionaries. So there's no racism. The only thing I'm guessing, if you're from Sokoto, you're a Muslim, if I'm correct. So we don't have mosques here. But nevertheless, there is freedom of religion. You would just have to have your own prayers by yourself. Yeah, that's the only thing. We don't have mosques. I have seen a few Muslims, yeah, from the Middle East, but they were here as expatriates for work purposes. I've been opportunity to meet quite a few of them in the malls, you know. So I think if you did join this group, Internations, look for Internations on Google. It's a community for expatriates that host communities across the globe. So you may be able to get some Muslims here in Ecuador, but we don't have a mosque. Yeah, because it's a Catholic country. That is the only thing that may be a problem to you. And then your next problem may be the language. But with today you have a translator app on your phone. I think you can work. You can maneuver your way around here. In the capital and in Ecuador, you will find a lot of foreigners in those places. In Cuenca, we have an American community. A lot of US retirees are choosing to retire here in Ecuador because the cost of living is quite low here. Yeah, the cost of living is quite low here. Accommodation and housing, especially here in Guayaquil where I live. Why people don't like Guayaquil is because it's sort of like Lagos, you know. We just have a lot of how would I call it, rough? It's noisy, it's too busy, it's overcrowded. Of course, it's an industrial city, it's a commercial city. Everybody comes here for the money, just like they do in Lagos. So, but we are beginning to have a lot of foreigners here too. And life is much, much cheaper here. But on the general, as a third world country, it is cheap. Say, for example, in Quito, the capital, the earning is higher there, and so they spend more. And here in Guayaquil, the earning is a bit lower, and so we don't spend a lot. Say, like myself with my husband, I think we don't go beyond $150 per month. I live in a two-bedroom apartment, which doesn't cost me more than $200. You know, internet takes about $30 per month. So yeah, and transportation is very, very affordable, very affordable. A bus ride takes you 30 cents and it covers the whole city. In my city, you cross north to south, east to west, and it's cheap. Yeah, if you have a car here, it is because maybe of you're security conscious or time conscious. Yeah, because in the mornings is really there's heavy traffic. There's heavy traffic in the big cities. Yeah, that would be that. But apart from that, the cost of living here is quite affordable. It's quite affordable. Until recent times, Ecuador was one of the most peaceful places on earth, especially here on the continent, to live in. And just recently, we started having the drug cartels trying to use Ecuador as a route, to transport their drugs because we're on the ocean. So when it comes to IT jobs, in what terms do you mean about IT jobs? Do you want to start up your own IT jobs or do you want to work for an IT company? If you're going to work for an IT company, there are a lot of tech companies that are in the country, but not from foreigners, but I think within the country, you will find that. But you can come and start up your own software tech company. Sorry, you can come and start your own company. Like I said at the beginning, you could start up a software. IT jobs, I don't know if it's in demand, but I know that it's a normal job. So there are opportunities for that here. Like I said, a lot of the foreigners I've met are more into business. So if you were a graduate of info technology, then you would have a better opportunity if you spoke the language, because a lot of people who are seeking for IT people want bilinguals. So I mean people who speak two languages. So you could try, like I said, put yourself, if you could join the internations, you could ask more about that on that platform. um, yeah, but IT jobs are available. That is what I can say for that, because I was researching that also. There are jobs for that, but I can't really say in what part of the country. Yeah, I think in Quito you would find a lot of that there. So yeah, there is an opportunity for that. Okay. So what else again didn't I cover? Yeah, another problem is if you come without your complete documents, which was why I was insisting that you go to the embassy, is that we don't have African embassies here. There is no African country that has an embassy or even a consulate in Ecuador. That is the difficulty we are facing as Africans living in Ecuador. We were able to, my husband was telling me about some Nigerians who are struggling to renew their visas here because we don't have a Nigerian embassy. The closest one to us was in Venezuela. Unfortunately, I arrived in Ecuador when Venezuela's economy was crashing down. And so the Nigerian consulate had to shut down. So the nearest country to us that has African embassies is Brazil, which is 6 hours away by flight. So again, I will reiterate the need why you should go to their embassy or use Visa HQ, because they are more updated. They know every detail of what the embassy will require before they issue whatsoever visa you are going to apply for. Or, like I said, if you don't want to go through visa and you want to come here, as a Nigerian passport holder, you require visas along with 22 other countries. The rest of the countries are visa free for Ecuador. Like I said, I came with a Congolese passport. I'm a Congolese passport holder. And so you could ask that at the embassy. You could write a letter and find out if there were job opportunities. But like you said, there is no racism. There is no reason why, if there is a job opportunity, they shouldn't give it to you. Fortunately, also, they don't prioritize their citizens. What I mean by that is, if a foreigner and a citizen went to apply for a job, um, both of you would be interviewed on this. One of you will be taken based on your qualifications, not because the government or the government policies favors the citizens above foreigners. So that that is that about that. And what else did I want to say? Yeah, another place that you could really, that another niche that I see is that I've noticed there is potential is the drop shipping. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Drop shipping is another business that you can really do here. You talked about IT, so I think you should be aware of that, where you get someone who needs okay, I think with your Niger passport you can be visa free. Yeah, because when I checked, Ecuador does not require visa from Niger. I think with your Niger passport you can be visa free. Let me just check that quickly for you. Yeah, so yeah, if you have a Niger passport, you can come here. You are 90 days free. You can stay in the country for 90 days, which is enough time if you have the resources to get a work visa here or a temporary visa here. So where now that we talked about that, you can come with your Niger passport. You're 90 days free, so you're exempted from application for visa if you were to come here with your Niger passport, Usman. That would be your best option actually. Yeah. So you can stay here for 90 days within 180 days period. So which means you can even extend it to 6 months. And you must also, what else are they requiring? I think you have to also confirm if they still need your immunization card, the yellow card for travel. You need to get that. I don't know if they still ask for your COVID cards. Those post-COVID, 2 years after COVID, they were still asking for your immunization if you are taking the vaccine. Sorry, for COVID. So, but I don't know if that is still valid. But yeah, you can use your visa, your Niger passport to come here. It's visa free. So you have 3 months. You can just get a ticket and this thing. But like I said at the beginning, you would have to have enough funds when you come to Ecuador to prove to the country that you can survive while they are processing your visa. So that would be the next question for you to tackle. Do you have enough savings in your account to sustain yourself here while you're working on your work visa? Yeah, so that would be that. And the application fee for a residential visa, meaning the temporary residential visa, is $50. And then when they accept your application, before they issue, you're going to have to pay the sum of $270. Okay, that is the issuance fee. Yeah, and so those are, I think I've mentioned everything, Sanusi. I think I've mentioned everything. If there's any other thing, please let me know. Yeah, so um, that is all I can say for now. And let me know if you have another question. So do you want to come here to live, or are you coming here just for tourism? What else did I not mention? Let me see. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that is the process. If you're coming to live, you could either apply, like I said, via Visa HQ or go to their embassy, or you could get your documents, like I said, apostille all your documents, get your police clearance, apostille them in Abuja. I think to say legalize. I think it's done at the Ministry of Justice. Go there and legalize them, and then try and see if you can get to the Ecuadorian embassy and find out if there's any information that I have not listed here. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I came here on a missionary invitation. We're invited by the church with my husband. So I didn't have to go through the process. But when we were trying to convert our tourist visa into a temporary visa, that was where I met those problems. So don't fall into the same trap that I did. get your police clearance. If you've lived in any other country for more than 5 years, get a police clearance from that country and get it legalized and translated, because when you come here, they would want to notarize it. Without those, there's no way you can process your your temporary residence visa here in Ecuador. Okay, so try and make sure that you do that. And then while you are in the process, you can start learning a little bit of Spanish. There are so many apps and teachers online on YouTube that can teach you that. I also give classes myself if you want to learn with me. And you would need, yeah, basically that. Your school document also, like I said, needs to be the port of entry. Immigration speak English is at the airport. You can come to Guayaquil straight, or you can come to, you can stop, you can take a flight for Quito, which is the capital. Those are the 2 points of entry. Yeah, it's by air, because you have to cross the Atlantic Ocean to come onto the American continent. Yes. So, what else? What else? What else? Are you coming alone or are you married? Are you coming with your family? Listen, you said, sorry, my mic went off. So I was saying that there are a lot of opportunities. There are opportunities for IT jobs here, because there are a lot of workspaces where they offer spaces where people like you can work from your laptop, developing softwares and this thing. But I don't know much about the employment. That is the need. So like I said, I was saying you could leave me an email and I could ask around, or you could search online for companies who are looking for IT jobs. I don't know what specific job in the IT industry you do, so I can't really give you a specific answer on that. Okay, so sorry, my mic went off. Yeah, and I was asking, I said the port of entry is, we have two international airports, one in the capital, which is Quito, and then we have another international airport here in the city where I live, which is Guayaquil, because you have to cross the ocean. So most people come in here by air, and yeah, the ship only mostly carry goods, or I think on cruises. I don't know if people travel here to by sea, but it will be by air. Okay. And I was asking if you were coming alone, or if you had a family that you were coming with, or you wanted to come with, because education here is quite affordable, except if you want your kids to go to private school where they can study in English. Yeah, so that would be that. I don't know if I've missed anything. I mentioned already the price of the application, which was $50, and then the issuance fee is 270, and you have to provide your source of livelihood to live while they are processing your visa. Okay, okay. All right. So you will need to, basically the most important things is your police clearance, your passport. If you're married, you can come with your marriage certificate, just so they know, to facilitate the legalization of your family when they finally arrive. And Yeah, like I said, police clearance, and then your proof of livelihood, your source of livelihood, meaning a bank statement and how you you make a living, because they would want to know that. Yeah, so that would be that. Yeah, I get you now. Yeah, so there are, if you're coming to settle, like I said, you can just get your, you can go through visa, I keep saying VHS, visa HQ, or you can go to the embassy or apply online. Or if you want to cut the time, you will have sufficient funds. Then you apply for, you come here as a tourist with your Niger passport, which is visa free. And then with your apostilled documents, your legalized documents, you can start the process within the country. Okay? That was what I was saying. Yeah, I think that's all I mentioned. Yeah. I think I told you the price of the cost of living. Did you get that? Yeah. Okay, Sanusi, I think that is all the information I have for you. If you need anything else, if you think you need me to help you with anything else, you can drop me your email and I can further you whatever information it is that you think you may need. But I think that's all. So if you're coming in first, just make sure you have your passport, 6 months valid. But if you're coming to settle, I would suggest it should be more than 6 months. Yeah. If you're coming to settle, then you should get your, what about America? I don't understand. You said in America. Yeah, if you want to settle here, I would advise your passport be valid for more than 6 months, because the process may take a little while. So you may need a 1 year valid a passport that's valid for more than 6 months, preferably a year, and get your police clearance. Something I wanted to say. Make sure that your police clearance is valid for 6 months. Your criminal record certificate is valid for 6 months. So not older, not less than. So let's assume you were coming here in April or in May next month, then you would have to get the police clearance issued to you probably before the end of this month, so that way it's valid till October while they are processing your documents. Okay, they need a 6 months valid police clearance or criminal record, like we call it. Yeah, I did mention that you should translate your documents, have them apostilled, your passport pictures. Yeah, that about covers everything. Yeah, we'll be waiting to. I'll be waiting to hear from you. And thank you for the question. Thank you for joining me. It was nice talking to you, Sanusi, and I wish you all the very best. The website again to go to is Servicios Digitales Cancilleria, which is, I'll spell that because it's in Spanish. The online site to go to is serviciosdigitales cancilleria.gov.ec. So Servicios Digitales is one word, Cancilleria is one word, .gov.ecuador, and then you will find the kinds of visas that you can apply for, what it entails, what it allows you to do in the country, and then you can apply there. Or you can go through Visa HQ, but try and go to the embassy for further information. So I'm going to cut here. Thank you for joining me. and I'll see you next time. Hope you do subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.